The Israelites returned to camp defeated and confused, their spirits crushed by the unexpected loss. The air was heavy with disappointment, and the silence among the soldiers spoke volumes about their shaken faith. They sat together, heads bowed, wondering why God had let them lose to the Philistines. Some whispered questions, others stared into the fire, searching for answers that wouldn't come. In their desperation, the elders remembered the Ark of the Covenant in Shiloh. They believed that bringing this sacred chest into their midst would guarantee victory, as if its presence alone could turn the tide of battle. Hophni and Phinehas, Eli's sons, arrived with the ark, and the camp erupted in a mighty, hopeful shout. The sound echoed across the valley, lifting the spirits of the weary soldiers. The Philistines heard the noise and were terrified, thinking a powerful God had entered Israel's camp. Their confidence wavered as fear crept into their hearts. "A God has come into their camp!" they cried, voices trembling with dread as they remembered stories of Israel's God and his mighty deeds. "Who can save us from this mighty God?" they asked each other, panic spreading among the ranks as they imagined defeat. But the Israelites saw the ark as a lucky charm, forgetting it was a symbol of God's presence, not a magic object. Their hope was misplaced, rooted in superstition rather than true faith. Their excitement grew, convinced they could not lose with the ark among them. They prepared for battle with renewed energy, certain that victory was now assured. Meanwhile, the Philistines braced themselves for battle, fearful but determined. They steeled their nerves, knowing they faced not just an army, but what they believed was a divine force. As dawn broke, the two armies stood ready. The stage was set for a fateful confrontation that would decide the destiny of both nations. The Philistines, driven by fear, fought with desperate strength. The Israelites, trusting in the ark rather than in God, were crushed. The defeat was devastating. Thousands died, and the survivors fled in panic. Worst of all, the Philistines captured the ark, killing Hophni and Phinehas. A lone survivor ran to Shiloh with the terrible news. The city erupted in grief. Israel had lost its army, its priests, and its holiest treasure. The people mourned not just defeat, but the loss of God's presence. The nation was left broken and afraid. Eli, old and blind, waited anxiously for news. The messenger arrived, reporting Israel's defeat, the death of Eli's sons, and the capture of the ark. Overwhelmed by grief, Eli fell from his chair and died. His 40 years as judge ended in tragedy, a result of failing to restrain his sons. At the same time, Eli's daughter-in-law went into labor upon hearing the news. As she died, she named her son Ichabod. The glory has departed. The loss of the ark marked the end of an era for Israel. The people felt abandoned, their hope shattered. The consequences of disobedience had come home. After their victory over Israel, the Philistines triumphantly seized the Ark of the Covenant and brought it to the city of Ashdod. They carried it with great ceremony, treating it as a symbol of their conquest, and placed it in the temple of their god Dagon, displaying it as a trophy of war and a sign of their supposed superiority. But their celebration quickly turned to dread. Overnight, Dagon's statue was found fallen before the ark. The next day, it happened again. This time, the idol's head and hands were broken off, lying in pieces on the threshold. The Philistines were shaken by these mysterious events. Soon after, a devastating plague swept through Ashdod. Panic and fear gripped the city as people fell ill and chaos erupted in the streets. The once proud victors now faced terror and confusion. Desperate to rid themselves of the ark, the Philistines sent it to Gath, hoping to escape its curse. But disaster followed. Gath too was struck by plagues, and the suffering only spread further when the ark was moved to Ekron. Each city experienced the same fate: sickness, fear, and widespread panic. The Philistine leaders gathered in alarm, realizing that the ark was not a prize to be displayed, but a source of overwhelming divine power that brought calamity wherever it went. Their confidence was shattered. "Send it away," the people pleaded, their voices filled with desperation and fear. They begged their leaders to remove the ark, hoping to end the suffering that had overtaken their land. The land was thrown into chaos. Once bustling cities became scenes of disorder and distress, and the Philistines were humbled by forces they could not understand or control. The ark's presence brought only disaster to those who treated it without reverence, serving as a powerful reminder that it was not to be taken lightly or used for personal gain. The lesson was clear. God's power could not be contained, manipulated, or controlled by human hands. The ark was a symbol of the divine, and those who disrespected it faced dire consequences. After 7 long months of relentless suffering and fear, the Philistines were desperate for relief. Plagued by mysterious illnesses and devastation, they finally gathered their rulers and wise men to seek advice on how to end their torment and return the Ark of the Covenant to Israel. Their priests and diviners instructed them to send the ark back, but not empty-handed. They were told to offer a guilt offering, golden images of the tumors and mice that had afflicted them, as a symbol of repentance and acknowledgement of Israel's God. Carefully, they placed the ark on a brand new cart, hitched to 2 cows that had never been yoked and had just calved, a test to see if the journey was truly guided by divine power. Miraculously, the cows walked straight down the road to Beth Shemesh, never turning aside, leaving no doubt that the plagues were sent by Israel's God and not by chance. The people of Beth Shemesh rejoiced with great celebration at the ark's return. They offered sacrifices, sang songs of praise, and gathered in awe around the sacred chest, grateful for its safe arrival. Meanwhile, the Philistine rulers watched from a distance, witnessing the power of Israel's God firsthand. They finally understood that this was no ordinary artifact, but a symbol of a living and powerful deity. Both nations learned a profound lesson. God is holy and must be honored with humility, not manipulated or used for selfish purposes. Reverence, not control, is what he demands. The ark's journey became a powerful reminder of the importance of reverence and humility before the divine, a lesson that echoed through generations. Israel's hope was restored, but now it was tempered with a deeper respect and awe for God's presence among them, shaping their faith and future. The story ended not just with celebration, but with a renewed sense of awe for the God who cannot be contained or controlled, but who invites all to honor him with true reverence.